Alright, trying a new setup today. Let me know what you think. Here's a bit of a collection update. So these are my favorite and/or most used knives and daggers. It's also the core of my current collection. I have a few others, but it's mostly either knives that I still need to test and review, and I'm then planning to either sell or give away afterwards, or things that I like, but not quite as much as these. It's not a whole lot left aside from this anyway. I've had to downsize quite a bit and sell a bunch of knives recently to keep up with the running cost of making videos, post-apocalypse and all that. I mean, it's still a pile of knives, obviously, but it's quite a bit less than I used to have. And well, if I can help it, I'm not going to sell any of these. So let's go through them a little bit. I'm just going to pick them randomly in no particular order, just the way I grab them. Here's a knife that one of my subscribers gave me. I don't know a whole lot about this one. It's inox steel, and this one really grew on me, mainly because of the handle shape, and I hope the camera will autofocus. I'm generally highly skeptical of autofocus. It often doesn't really do what you want it to do, but hopefully this will do it. So it's quite a nice handle, very much like how it feels in the hand, and you can tell by how the blade looks that I've been using it quite a bit on an everyday basis. And here's the CRKT Persian folder. This one here is really pretty. That's the main reason why I keep it. I very much like how it looks. It's got this sort of luxury folder look to it. Now, it's not necessarily the greatest design in practical terms, but I like it well enough, and it looks really fancy. Here's the Grohmann Canadian belt knife. This one also definitely grew on me. I didn't like it a whole lot at first because I found the shape kind of weird, and it is a little weird for sure, but the more I've used it, the more I liked it. It's definitely a functional shape, and yeah, cuts well, feels pretty good in the hand too, just locks into the hand quite nicely, and as weird as the curvature is, it's pretty handy. So, and it's also good edge retention, decent steel, all of that. It's definitely a quality knife. So, find myself using it quite a lot. Speaking of using a lot, this here used to be my work knife. During the time when I worked at a store that sold knives and swords and airsoft stuff and all kinds of things. And I always had this one here because it looks pretty inconspicuous. There's a buck Revel, and it's quite a nice one. One thing I like about it is that when you push the button here, you can flick it out, but you can't flick it out without pushing it. So, where there are bans on gravity knives, this is still fine. And you can also open it more, inconspicuously, if you will, just by pushing the button and rotating this. So, different ways of opening it. It's really, again, feels good in the hand. It's not large, but it's enough play to get the job done. Mainly opening boxes and cutting tape and rope and things like that. So really handy. I've always liked to carry that. Then we've got the Benchmade Azeria, which you've seen in a few videos by now. Haven't done the review yet, but I'm hoping to get that done soon. Interesting forward curvature. I do happen to like that, and this here is great for opening boxes, tearing into materials. So you can also do that with a point quite well. It's also got a really good edge, nice and sharp, and feels good in the hand. Again, lots of things that I like about it. It's a bit too tactical looking for everyday carry. Again, depending on where you are, might not be an issue, but that's the only drawback. Otherwise, I very much like it. Then we've got the Spyderco Manix2. I used to have a Spyderco Tenacious, which was kind of my go-to knife for quite a while, and then I got this one instead. And this I like even more. I mean, I like the Tenacious, except the fact that it's very bloodthirsty. I mean, everybody I know on YouTube who has a Tenacious got bit by it at some point, myself included. And it's weird because I almost never cut myself with anything. You know, other than random stuff like cardboard and whatnot. But knives, not so much. But the Tenacious, yeah, was one of those that got me as well. So kind of weird. Anyway, the Manix2, again, it's got this, well, I guess it's not called an axis lock if it's not made by Benchmade. But, yeah, or maybe it is, I'm not sure. Either way, works like that. So you pull that down and then you can flick it open and close. You can also open it with the hole, of course. The Spidey hole. And yeah, this one, amazing. One of the best knives I've owned so far. Just really good design in terms of ergonomics and good materials, all of that. Now here is one that I don't use that often, but definitely like. It's the Schrade, what was it, SCH402L. This ceramic blade. That's what I like about it. Ceramic folders are pretty neat. I mean, the problem with them, of course, is you have to really treat them with caution. I mean, these are very fragile compared to a steel blade. If you drop this, it's most likely going to break. And so you have to be pretty delicate with it. But at the same time, the nice thing, of course, is that makes it extremely absurdly light, for one. And also it's pretty thin. Overall, very low profile. And also, since it is ceramic, you don't have to worry about resharpening it much. I mean, you can use it for a long, long time without it getting dull. So that's quite nice. Also, it's got carbon fiber. I'm a sucker for carbon fiber. What can I say? Really like it. Here's the Spyderco Bug. Actually, no, wait. Which one is this? There's a Bug set. It's got the Bug, the Cricket, and the Grasshopper. Yeah, I think this is the Bug, if I remember correctly. The Bug is the largest one. I've got either the Cricket or the Grasshopper. I think it's the Grasshopper on my keychain. It's smaller than this, and it's really nice. I mean, pretty low price, but amazing quality for that. And you know, it's a simple design. It's a slip joint, so it's legal everywhere. Also, you know, small size with that length, nobody can say anything. You can have this just about anywhere. And on the keychain, it doesn't bother me at all, you know, the smaller one. So yeah, the Bug set, I definitely like. I got all of them. Then we've got the traditional Filipino Weapons karambit. I've shown that before, talked about it. Double-edged, really nice handle. Quite like this. Almost honeycomb effect. The way they made that looks neat and also feels good. This one I've had for a long time. Not exactly an EDC knife. This is really more, you know, fighting / collector's knife. So I just have it because I like karambits, and this is quite a well-made one. So there's that. Then also collector's stuff. This is the CRKT Fulcrum. This one here says, I don't know if you can read that from there, it says dull demo edge. So this one here was actually not meant for resale. In fact, it really says on there, not for retail sale. I don't know why the store that I got it from sold it, despite that, but yeah, I just got this at a time where they were discontinued and I couldn't find a sharp version. Haven't sharpened it yet because, I don't know, this one here I really just have to mess around with pretty much. For one, as a novelty collector's item because it's such a weird mechanism. And also because, yeah, it's just fun to mess with. What can I say? Sometimes it's all the reason you need to have something, right? Now, here's the Cheburkov Scout. You may have seen my first impression video of this. The review video I'm planning to get done fairly soon. I don't know exactly what fairly soon means, but yeah, this one has actually really impressed me at this point. In the first impression video, I wasn't super impressed yet. It was kind of like, yeah, okay, nice. I don't really see why it costs as much as it does, you know, that sort of thing. But now I know. I mean, for one, this is worn in really nicely. I'm going to talk about that in the review, but it's now really smooth and it's so well designed. I mean, it handles great, it performs really well, and you can just feel the quality. You'll see about that in the actual review, but the thing is pretty amazing, I've got to say. Then, of course, you've probably seen this one, the giant Opinel. This is the one that Dan, a friend of ours, gave me when he came to visit Canada. So this thing is just an absolute monster. It's pretty much a pocket sword. It's huge and it cuts pretty damn well. I mean, I've cut tatami mats with this. Pretty astonishing what this thing does. And whenever I use it, somebody always makes a comment about, oh, that's got to be cut fingers time and whatnot. But you know, here, if you look at this, it's got a bolster lock. So you rotate this, and you've got a solid piece of steel here that keeps the blade where it is. So it's not going to close on its own, even if you strike something hard. And one of the two cameras just died, and I'm just going to keep going because we've only got a few left, and it's not really worth it to reset everything. And I'm still not sure how well the autofocus worked out anyway. So here's the CRKT Halfachance. It's related to the Chance in Hell, which I also used to have, but did I give that away or did I sell it? I don't even remember. But either way, this is quite a nice machete. Pretty thin and a really wide blade. So this one chops like a beast. And it's got a nice comfortable handle too, rubber handle. And here's the Schrade makhaira. I've done a review of this one. You can see, definitely seen some use. And yeah, this one definitely convinced me immediately. You know, again, well designed, comfortable handle, chops really well, edge held up well. And yeah, that's really, also aesthetics I like. You know, the overall curvature. Gotta like them curves, right? So really, really nice machete or large knife, however you want to look at it. This one here is a gift from one of my subscribers I don't know anything about really. So kind of an old school pocket knife. Got several blades, and I very much like the handle scales on this one. The green here, or green and yellow I guess, looks really good. And you know, this is one of those kind of classy, no-nonsense designs. You know, been around for a really long time. I don't personally really see much of a point to several blades like this because they are, you know, relatively similar, really. Especially these two. I mean, they've got a different point, but they are really very similar. So personally, I'd rather have other tools on it, but the main blade I like, and yeah, as I said, it's a really nice looking pocket knife. So certainly like that one. And then this is a wooden dagger, rondel dagger, that one of my subscribers made. I'm still impressed by how well made it is, how nice it looks. It's got a number of different types of wood all sandwiched there and really well finished. You know, the shape is just on point, so to speak. It's also pretty pointy, yes. And this, I think, was bloodwood, the blade. It looks amazing. This really goes to show how pretty wood can be, especially when it's that well done. And this is also exactly the right proportions for a rondel dagger. So it's not one that I can really use for anything, but it's a really nice art piece. I quite appreciate it. Somehow I almost forgot this one. Too obvious? I don't know, whatever. So one of my subscribers made this one. based on a design that I drew. Turned out pretty well. In hindsight, I should have probably either made this a proper short sword, or even a full-size sword, or a smaller knife, because for a knife this is a huge guard really, and for a knife it's also a very long handle. But for a weapon, like a short sword, anything like that, it's actually too light and too short on the blade. So I didn't get the design quite right. That's definitely on me. But he did a nice job on it, and I still quite like it. So nice overall shape. The S shape looks pretty neat. I also almost forgot this one. Even when noticing that I forgot the other one, I didn't realize this at first. I don't know. Super scatterbrain today, not my day. Either way, so this one here is made by Helle in Norway. And it's another one of those that really grew on me. At first, I didn't particularly like the overall shape because it's kind of simplistic by my standards at least. But it's again pretty much no nonsense kind of deal. Very comfortable handle. The way it swells here, the overall shape is really, really practical and comfortable. So can't say anything against that. It's got a convex grind, and yeah, really, really nice knife. I find myself reaching for it pretty often when I need to do things like whittling and whatnot. So finally, just some honorable mentions, so to speak. So this one here, I'm definitely going to keep for novelty and whatnot, just because it's so weird. I can't say it's really one of my favorites because it's not a good design. I mean, I've had one of these fall apart on me, and it's not good quality by any means. It's not particularly practical. It doesn't handle very well. It really isn't a whole lot that I can point out as being really respectable about this, but the mechanism is just, it's so weird. It's kind of fun to mess around with. So there's that. This here, the Talon, is also not the most practical thing I've ever tested, but I do like it. I mean, the idea with this is you can just keep it on your hand, you can hold something else and do whatever, and it's there. You can use it. So it's a neat idea. It's definitely reasonably well made and all. It's just such a short blade. There's not too much you can do with that. It's really, really tiny. But, I still like it. It's just not among my favorites overall. And then, of course, there is, the small Opinel. It's just so funny to see the two side by side. I used to not like Opinels. Both of these were given to me because I didn't have much of an interest in them, but I now see why people like them. They are really, really cheap, but really, really good. It's one of those cases where you get a lot more than what you pay for. Here is another Schrade. Which one was this again? SCHF23. I have not reviewed that yet, I think. I'm not quite sure what I think about it yet. The forward curve I like, and I like how it feels. And the overall shape is nice, also looks good. I might keep this, I'm not sure yet. And of course, the dagger that Jörg made at the Slingshot channel. Talked about that before. So yeah, the handle isn't quite shaped the way that I would have done it, but it's still really nice. So very pretty and well made. So and of course, that was a pretty cool gift. So, and finally, there's the K-Bar Swabby. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with this, if I want to keep it or not. I might just do some testing with it. This one here I got in a trade with Zombie Go Boom. And yeah, it's quite a massive knife. Not entirely sure what I think about the handle. Like it feels pretty decent on the one hand. On the other hand, I think this is a little overdone. But yeah, it's certainly nice enough. I just haven't quite made up my mind on it yet. And yeah, that's that. Hope you found it interesting or entertaining or whatever else, and thanks for watching.